So I was having a quick go at fixing this potentiometer because I got a bit of a problem with it. As you can see, as I turn the knob here on the scope, it's showing the voltage. We've got 5.2 volts, around about 5 volts flowing through there. And you can see that as I turn it, I've got the voltage on the scope going up and down between 0 and 5 volts. Except for that. What's that? Why does it do that? There's something wrong with it. It shouldn't do that. It shouldn't drop down like that. So let's have a go at explaining how a potentiometer is supposed to work. So a potentiometer, in this case, is a 10K pot, as it's sometimes called, 10 kilo ohms, and I've got it set up like this, flowing between 5 volts and 0, and the voltage that we're measuring on the scope back there is measured on the resistor there. So how is this thing set up inside? Basically, it looks like this. We have a resistive element, and we have a rotor and a connector, like that. These come down to the 3 pins that you can see here. So what I've got is this goes to 5 volts, this goes to 0 volts, and this here is our output. As you rotate this, here are your 2 resistors. That one's that big, and that one's that big. So there's your resistor, and there's the middle. Just like this over here. So these are example values here. 8 and 2 add up to 10 kilo ohms, and these can be varied. Any 2 resistors that add up to 10 kilo ohms can be put here with the knob. And then we're measuring with the scope or multimeter over here to see the variable output voltage. So how is it that that works? Well, we know from our Ohm's law, is it called Ohm's law? That we've got 5 volts across the whole system. So what we can do is work out the current. We know we've got 10 kilo ohms and 5 volts, and from here we're trying to work out current, so it's voltage over resistance. 5 divided by 10,000 is 0.0005, or 5 milliamps. Now it's worth noting that the scope or the multimeter doesn't draw very much current at all, in fact just about nothing, and that's why when we do the measurement it's okay to ignore any current that might be leaking out here. We just consider the current that's going down through here. Now the next trick is to work out how much the top resistor is dropping the voltage by. We want to work out the voltage at this point. Well, to do that, we know the current flowing through that resistor now because we know the total. So now we're looking for the voltage. To get the voltage, it's just the current times the resistance. So our current, which we worked out before, 2 kilo ohms, which can be varied, and then I times I is 1 volt. So we've dropped 1 volt, and we should be measuring 4 volts. And that makes sense, because if you look here, we've put 1/5 of the resistance over here, and 4/5 of the resistance over here. So in this case, the output voltage would be 4 volts. So why is it doing that? Well, obviously, some point where it reaches the top, the little sweeping mechanism in there is touching ground somehow, but it only does it a little bit of the time, sometimes. Very strange. Anyway, bottom line is that this thing is garbage. Okay, well, I hope that helps some of you use a potentiometer in your circuits, maybe. Thank you very much, and see you next time.